We're back with another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm Monique Marvez, and this is Dr. Raban. And today we're circling back around to massive weight loss because it's so relevant, and we're just going to have to keep coming here. It's important.
Well, I mean, I think the reality is the goal of the show is, as it says, to discuss topics that are relevant to our listeners. And the reality is that in America today, obesity is an epidemic, possibly an endemic. It's 50% of the country. And then we have subcategories of obesity, morbid obesity, super morbid obesity. And we are so lucky today to have one of my patients who is courageous enough to come on the show and help us get an insight and an understanding of the journey. Because let me tell you, this is a journey. Getting to a place where you are overweight is its own journey. And then coming back down the mountain is another journey. And then undergoing the body transformation to get to your happy place is yet another journey. So
it's a long process.
I know. So Alejandra.
Yes.
Are you there, honey?
I am here, yes.
Awesome. So thank you again for so much for coming on and joining us on this segment. And let's get into this.
Let's start with the journey. Now, Alejandra, you were quite large. You weren't just chubby. You were quite large.
Yes, I was. I was around 418 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
And well, good for you that you can say that. And what was, may I ask, how did you find yourself in that position? Are you a psychological eater? Like what is walk me through how you go from, adorable little girl, you sound quite, energetic and good, to 400 plus pounds. Walk me there.
Growing up in a Hispanic household, my mother is from Honduras, my father is from Argentina. We always ate very late, always ate a lot of carbs all the time. And when I was about 6 or 7, it was chubby, it was cute, it was normal. But then afterwards, once I started turning 10 or 11, I was just way over 250 pounds. I was well overweight, and it just became a point where food was my go-to. It made me so happy to eat, and I would buy sweets. And my parents, my mom would see it as an issue, but my father, on the other hand, would see it as like, this makes her happy. We're gonna help her out here and solve her problems in a way. If I think so now, but it was a way for me, as you say, psychologically, it made me so happy. I was just so happy all the time when I was eating.
So it's like a drug. Food was like your drug of choice.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, 100%. 1,000,000%.
And then, but the question then that we ask is kind of, I guess we can akin it to a drug, because the reality is that there is food for certain people is kind of an addictive thing. There's always the post-eating crash, which is when you're eating, you felt good, but presumably at some point you either, whether it was on a scale or when you wore clothes or when you were somewhere,
right.
I'm sure there was at what point did you feel like, I'm not happy. Because listen, the truth of the matter is just being overweight, there's two parts to this. There's the health component, which is, there's no question it's terrible for your heart. You get diabetes, your hip and your knees are undergo. So nobody's going to argue with that. But from an aesthetic standpoint, who are we to say that if you're overweight, it's unattractive? If an individual is overweight and they're healthy, which is kind of an oxymoron, but let's just say hypothetically, then so be it. God bless you. Be happy. If you're happy overweight, great. But more often than not, patients who are overweight are not generally happy with the way they feel and look, aside from the medical component. So when did you start to feel like you didn't like being overweight?
When I turned about 16 or 17, all through middle school, I was bullied about being overweight. I was called names all the time. And it hurt me, but not as much in high school. And, then there was a cute boy in class. Or, there always all these things came up. And I was like, oh, my gosh, like, I feel I'm not cute. I thought I am not cute. I don't fit in my desk. That was also like, oh, my goodness. Like, whenever I would walk into class, because, there were 6 periods, whenever I would walk into class and it was a class that had a desk with the chair and it wasn't attached, I was like, oh, yes. And I would always feel, why is this, like, wonderful to me? Why is it an issue that, I have to have a desk that's not attached to the seat, And so I started feeling like out of place. I started feeling like I didn't want to hang out with the girls because I didn't want to go out to eat with anyone either because I felt like, oh, I eat too much. And so in high school, it was definitely an issue. 16, 17, prom. I went to prom overweight, and I never forget it because it was just a part of, it was something significant back then in my life. And I was like, wow, here I am at prom, a size 26, 28 dress.
26, 20. How much did you weigh at prom? May I ask? Is that rude?
Yes. No, at prom, I want to say I weighed about, 345, 350, I want to say.
Okay, so you did that, and then it's kind of clicked for you. And then the question then is, what did you do to? Okay, so you had those moments, and then what was your journey? I refer to get to the top of the mountain and then work your way back down the mountain. So what did you do to work yourself back down to the weight? How much? Let's throw something. How much do you weigh currently?
Right now, I'm at 245.
245, and you're 5'10", right?
5'10", correct.
That's amazing. So you have lost over 200 pounds, which is an incredible and extraordinary feat. So congratulations. So what did you do? So you started, you're like, okay, this is not working. So what did you do to?
Yeah, what was the trigger? What made you said basta? What made you just said enough? I'm always curious to know what that thing is that's like done.
I wasn't happy. I came to points in my life where I did not want to leave my house. I would just want to go to school and come back, and I didn't want to hang out with my family. I didn't want to hang out with friends. I did not want to leave the house. I felt like, why am I going to go out of the house? I'm just like some ugly fat person. Like, why? Like, no, like, why am I going to leave? And my clothing, and it wasn't like, and I just felt like it wasn't me. It wasn't me. Like I would walk around and see girls and be like, this, like, I would see a girl wearing a jean jacket with hoops and looking so cute. And I'd be like, this is my style. This is something I would wear. Oh, if I'd be thinner, I'd totally wear that. And then I think to myself, why, if I'd be thin, like, why can't I just do it now?
And so what did you do?
I want to wear this.
So
and
what,
so I
what
told
did you
my
do?
mom, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm not happy. I'm not happy, and I really want to lose this weight, and I want to change my life. And she said, well, why don't we look into getting the gastric sleeve? And that's when I took classes for the gastric sleeve, and I had to lose about 45 pounds before I got the procedure done. And at that point, it was so easy for me because it was just, I'm losing these 45 pounds to start, a healthier life, and to get this procedure. It's going to help me lose even more weight, and that's how it all began, basically.
Okay, so this brings us second point. So there's a lot of people out there, because everybody in this country likes to have an opinion, even though their opinion was never inquired. And they'll say, oh my God, I can't believe you lost all that weight. You didn't even earn it. You didn't go do diet and exercise, which in my opinion is a bunch of bullshit. Because the reality is the only thing that matters, and I said this off mic, is no one gives a shit how you lost the weight. The only thing that matters is you lost the weight, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is your health. And the reality is that for a lot of people, it doesn't matter what the reason is. They just can't do it alone without some assistance. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with getting assistance to get to where you need to go. And I mean, I want to say it again and again, and I'll say it every time we have this subject, which is, it's better to do whatever it takes to get there than to continuously have excuses. I have seen patients in my office like a revolving door that come to me once a year, overweight, and they want to have a surgery done. And what do I tell them? You need to go lose 40 pounds before I'll operate on you, which they're unhappy about because they just want me to fix them. And then they'll come back a year later, and I swear to God, they're the same weight, sometimes more. And what do they say? I've been trying to lose by diet and exercise. Go get the surgery, bariatric surgery, when done in the right patient, and you are the ideal candidate. I mean, it's like literally life-saving. It saved your life.
How long did it take you once the sleeve was on to lose the rest of your weight?
Oh gosh, once the sleeve was on, in a matter of 8 months, I lost about 120 pounds.
Wow,
that's incredible. Yeah.
That's a person.
So then, Alejandra. So the next question, because I'm going to ask the questions as people are going to ask, which is, okay, so as a result of the surgery, so you used that surgery as a segue, did it help you change your eating habits, right? Because what got you there, let's be honest, was you had poor eating habits. You ate carbs and ate late and ate sugar and whatever.
Ate for fun.
So you got you got the sleeve, and I'm going to elaborate to people who don't know what the sleeve is. The sleeve is essentially we went through all kinds of iterations of bariatric surgery being a whole world of doing surgeries to help people lose weight. The first of which was called a gastric bypass, which was where we reconnected the plumbing in your intestines. That, of course, worked, but had a bunch of issues.
Sure.
And
Was
then
that the Roux-en-Y thing?
the Roux-en-Y, of course, is one kind of gastric bypass. Then we advanced to, everyone remembers 1-800-GET-THIN, which was the lap band, that phenomenon, which again,
I remember the lap band.
yeah, I remember those guys. They went to jail. So that had its benefits. Again, had a bunch of issues, and now we're at the phase which is called the gastric sleeve. And the sleeve is.
Didn't they do a bubble too, where they'd put a bubble down in your stomach
sure
and
that-
inflate it to take up space?
I'm sure that happened. That was probably a couple of weekends. But what we're at now, which seems to be currently the most desired procedure, is called a sleeve, whereby which you physically remove a segment of the stomach which has expanded. And so what that does, and correct me if I'm wrong, it makes people feel full very quickly. And you just can't eat as much. And that, as a result, hopefully you recognize that sensation and then you eat less. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
So what did you do to change your eating? So lifestyle, tell me about lifestyle. What happened there?
Well, lifestyle-wise, again, I took the classes before I did the procedure, and so it was all about, intaking protein. So when you have a plate in front of you, they always say, start with the beef first, then the vegetables or the salad, and then you go to the starches, any potato, any rice. And by that time, you're full already, so you don't even eat the starches.
Great. That's actually a great pointer. I wish I had gone to that
Right,
Yeah, I
class.
think I'm going to do that.
And so that's basically what I tend to do as well. When I get a plate in front of me, I start with the beef, then I nibble on the salad, and I eat the salad. And once the starches come, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of full. I'll just try a little bit of this mash, but I just don't eat it.
Wow. Now, was there a process of exercise while you were retraining your eating habits? Did you start walking, or because you said that getting around was difficult?
There has been exercise. Right. No, there has been exercise. When I saw Dr. Raban in August of last year, and I said, I also want to get a body lift. And he said, again, you have to lose 50 to 70 pounds. And so
hold on one second. I'm going to interrupt you there because I think it's an important segue. Why on earth would I tell you, a cash-paying patient, that you need to lose more weight and potentially have you go next door? What was the point of what I told you?
Because you want me to look my absolute best, and you genuinely care for me.
And what was the issue at hand? What did I tell you was the problem with the extra weight?
The extra weight. I'm trying to think.
It was that you wouldn't have gotten as good an outcome because you weren't fully deflated. You were still, while you had lost a tremendous amount of weight and your arms and your breasts were prepared and ready, your trunk was not yet ready. And the key and the emphasis we're going to make is that you can't just do stuff surgically because you want to.
Do you have an ideal weight, Dr. Raban?
No, there is no ideal weight because this is the key with massive weight loss. Let me explain this. Every single patient looks totally different. There are patients who come to my office, they've lost 100 pounds. They're still overweight, yet all of their weight is on their thighs. Their torso looks that of someone who weighs 96 pounds. There are women who come in, men and women, who come in and they're 100 pounds weight loss and all of the weight is still stuck in their belly. So everyone has a pattern of distribution. And so, for example, Alejandra came and her arms and her breasts, which are the things that we're going to move into and discuss, is what we're doing first, whereas her body, which is what I normally do, the trunk first, wasn't ready yet because she needed to lose more weight. So I interrupted you. I apologize, but you were saying.
No problem. And so I said, okay, well, I want to get this done. This has to get done. And I want to get it done, and I want to get it done with you. And so I said, well, let's start, changing up a little bit, because after a while it gets so boring to just have protein shakes, and before I got the gastric sleeve, I was trying to lose weight as well. I did probably about 4 months of trying to lose weight, so I had that before, and then afterwards, then I said I have to change things up. Now I have to go more to the gym. I have to add days at the gym. I have to not have this dessert here or there. I have to, iced coffees, I'll have one every other, week or so, and so I started changing that up as well, and it helped me lose weight. And since the last time you saw me, I've lost an additional 42 pounds.
Awesome.
Whoa.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of you. So we're going to switch gears and talk about what it is that we're planning to do. So you're scheduled to have surgery, and you're having the surgery. We're doing a breast lift with implant, as well as a brachioplasty or arm lift or arm tuck, correct?
Oh, wow.
So
yes.
Let's talk about what it is what were the issues that you had. So the arms, I can't tell you, almost every single weight loss patient complains about their arms because it's the one thing it's very hard to hide. You can hide your belly, you can hide your breasts, you can hide your thighs. Your arms, unless you're constantly wearing a long sleeve shirt, which we live in California, for God's sakes, it's very hard to hide. So,
yeah, but that's me, doctor.
I know,
that's definitely me.
I know. So we were going to what we're dressing is loose skin. Some people refer to them as their bat wings or
lunch lady arms.
Yeah, but we're going to be removing the excess skin through excising the skin and fat, and it's incredible what it does, not only aesthetically but functionally, because your extremities are what allows you to move and exercise. And when your arms don't carry an extra 2-3 pounds of resistance, you're going to do amazing.
Right.
And as far as the breasts, well, of course, you lose a lot of weight. Your breasts don't look the same way anymore. They've lost a lot of volume, and they've also begun to sag and lose shape. So our goal at the end of the day with breasts is simply that. We want improved shape, and we want improved or enhanced volume. So you have to do that through two separate surgeries. I mean, two separate meaning two parts at the same time, which is a breast lift, fixing the shape, and a breast aug, fixing the volume. So those are our anticipated surgeries that we have on board. We're going to take a little quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to want to talk about a few other things like
what her expectations
your
are,
expectations, your excitement, your enthusiasm, and last but not least, the recovery anticipated. So hang tight.
And we're back with Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm Monique Marvez, and this is Dr. Roddy Raban, and we're going to revisit Alejandra on her journey.
Alejandra, so next question I have for you, which is, so a lot of people say, all right, well, you lost more than 200 pounds, which is incredible. Shouldn't you just be done and be happy? People don't really understand. You had issue number one, which is I was overweight, 400 plus pounds, and that created a world of insecurities. And now I have yet another set of insecurities, which is now I have all this loose skin. And can you just elaborate a little bit why, now that you're 250 pounds, why can't you just go live your life? What's the matter?
I guess because all my life I've been overweight. And so now that I have all this excess skin as well, I think it also has to do with appearance. I do not leave the house without a long sleeve. It'll be 100 degrees outside, and I have a long sleeve on because I don't feel good about my arms. Certain clothes I want to wear, it just doesn't look good on me because, everything is floppy. And I think that I'm 23 years old. I think, oh, my gosh, at 23, I want to wear this. I want to wear that. I just want to, experience things and do things that you want to do at 23. And I don't because I just don't feel like I'm there yet. I don't feel fully myself yet.
Have you had people say to you, like, because they can't tell, like, because you've done such a good job of camouflaging that they can't tell that, like, what do you mean you want to have plastic surgery? Are you crazy? You're 23 years
all
old.
The time.
Like, so there's a lot of resistance, wouldn't you say, to having surgery?
Yeah. Not really, because I guess they're not the ones to see themselves in the mirror naked like I do. Right. I get it all the time. My sister, I have 4 sisters, and one of them tells me, "You look fantastic." She's my little cheerleader. She's always telling me how great I look, because I'm great at hiding it. Like when I wear my jeans, when I wear my tights, like everything. When you see me with clothes, you would never think I look the way I look naked. Very flappy. Like my arms, like when I'm wearing like a jean jacket, they look very nice and firm. They look a little large. Everything just looks like it sets well. But I mean, when this is all off, it's definitely not like that at all.
And that's really important when it comes to personal intimacy with
yourself. I was just going to say that.
And intimacy with a life partner. I think that's kind of like, at the end of the day, you're doing it for yourself. And, there's this argument, oh, well, whoever falls in love with you will love you as you are. Well, that's not true. That's the ridiculous.
But you want to feel well.
You want to feel confident within your own skin, which then exudes a sense of connectivity to your partner. And so you touched a little bit upon it. So your sister is part of your support team. I'm assuming your family's on board as well, correct?
Yes.
And then the big issue, of course, is, all right, oh my God, I listened to this young lady, Alejandra, she inspired me. But there's a real issue at hand, right? This costs money. And so at the end of the day, a lot of patients who lose 100 pounds, they want to go in, they can see the daunting price tag, and they want to do what? They want to do all of it in one set, and they go to some cockamamie place because it's very expensive, and then you end up, what do? You end up exchanging yet one more insecurity for another. So you went from being overweight, unhappy, losing a ton of weight and loose skin, unhappy, to having horrible plastic surgery with ugly wounds and unhappy. And none of it ends up being
happy.
So
Right.
What happened when you and I talked? You came in with all this loose skin, which is your arms and your thighs, your belly, your back, and we said what? What did we decide?
We decided that we were going to do what I'm not happy about the most.
Staging it. We're going to go about it incrementally. Because if you can, like all things in life, you could easily walk into an office, and to be honest with you, it's probably what we're going to do is probably the rarity rather than the norm, which is you can walk into an office and say, listen, I lost 100, 200, 300 pounds. I hate the way I look. And they're going to, no matter what, try to encourage you to get it all done, because at the end of the day, you may not come back. And that's lost money on the table. But just think about it for a second. If I'm going to take 8+ hours to do your arms and your breasts because I'm the only one operating on you, how is it that another doctor is going to do your arms, your legs, your thighs, your belly, your breasts, all in the same time? How? How's that physically possible?
4 arms? He's got 4 arms?
He's not.
No, he's got 2 or 3 assistants. That's number one. So you go in and see Dr. X, and Dr. Y and Z, or better yet, his tech, who's not a doctor, are all present. And number 2, everything's done hastily in a hurry. So you get low quality, high volume surgery.
I have to ask, is it legal for a tech to close a wound?
Listen, it's not legal, but I will tell you it happens in 90% of the ORs. Because what happens is you're in surgery and you're a surgeon. And this is very labor intensive. Closing, 12 inches of a scar on each arm, plus it's time consuming. And the reality is that most guys don't want to sit in the OR. Time is money. The longer it takes, the more you have to pay. So they just half-ass it. So again, I want to underscore this. So good for you for having lost the weight, and good for you for having realized that if you want an Hermes bag, you need to save money and you need to do it right the first time. So I'm assuming you've gone about this in a financially responsible way, because this is going to be a long journey financially, and I'm sure you've thought about it, and you're not going to be in house poor or debt because you've planned it.
No, not at all.
Okay, so that's another thing that we want to underscore, because you get people who put their house and mortgage and everything and leverage it for cosmetic surgery, which is just insane.
Right.
So you're doing your arms and your breasts, the AUG, and shape and volume, as you say, doctor. And what is ballpark? What is that going to cost her?
Well, arms can range anywhere from 10 to 20, and breasts can range anywhere from 15 to 25. Now, those are reasonable numbers. You get anything significantly more or significantly less, and there's a problem. And it usually is on the end of significantly less. When something is too expensive, that's usually a label issue. Like, oh, I went to this doctor, he was on TV. Okay, if you want to pay for so-and-so, that's fine. Alternatively, when something's really inexpensive or sounds like, I don't understand, there's a reason for that. This is surgery. They're going to cut corners on the anesthesiologist. They're going to cut corners on your surgery environment, the surgery center. They're going to cut back on your recovery. They're going to do it quickly. It's going to be half-assed. There's no question about it.
Are you excited?
Oh, so excited. I feel like it's the beginning of a new chapter and practically almost a new life, really. I'm very, very excited.
We're very excited for you. I always feel very blessed. and very lucky to be able to participate in your transformation, in your journey, because at the end of the day, I feel like I was given this skill set to help you into the next phase. And I think you're very worthy and a lovely young lady.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you.
Congratulations. We all look forward to seeing your after pictures.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Keep up the good work. It's quite inspiring. 200 plus pounds. Your journey is, it's you've got a ways ahead of you, but you're going. You are on this.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Raban, it seems like family support is a big component when these people are on this weight loss journey to their new lives. Is that an important thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really one of the major take homes is that you can't you can't do journeys like this alone, and that having people around you is very, very